Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Hari Om Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. Welcome to the readings and reflections from the book on Holy Mother. This book, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, written by Srimad Swami Gambhiranji Maharaj, gives the life anecdotes. So we've been reading this book for some time. We are now in the chapter 24, Mistress of the Home. As usual, we shall read a few passages and then go for some reflections. We are now in page number 317. The mother had then dealings with her relatives on three levels. The first, the brothers. The second, the sisters-in-law and the nieces. And the third, the nephews and the sons of her nieces. The difference of age among them was great. The brothers had personal incomes and yet expected their sisters' assistance. Three of her nieces, Nalini, Maku, and Radhu's mother Surabala, had become members of her family for various reasons. And on the third level were the little guidelines children. The mother's dealings on all these levels were adjusted according to the age of her relatives. We have studied her relationship with her brothers. Now we shall learn something of her love and affection towards the other two groups. We shall come to see that though she fulfilled her self-chosen duty towards the grown-up people without flinching, even under provocation, her mother's heart had its softest, warmest, and most charming expression for these unsophisticated little children. Uncle Prasanna married Subhashini Devi a year after the death of his first wife, Rampriya. Subhashini was then a mere girl and very young as compared with her sisters-in-law. Uncle Kali's wife, Subodhbala Devi, Varada Prasad's wife, Indumati Devi, and Abhay Charan's wife, Surabala Devi, two were much younger than the mother. We are acquainted with Surabala well enough, though more of her remains yet to be told. We need not refer to her daughter Radhu in this chapter. We have come across Nalini and Maku, both daughters of Ramapriya Devi, but we have not known them thoroughly enough. About Kamala and Vimala, daughters of Subhashini Devi, we have not much to say. But we shall have to add some words about Subodhbala's son Bhudev, Indumati's son Shudiram, Maku's son Neda, and Radhu's son Banu. Nalini and Maku were married before Radhu. Nalini Devi could not live with her husband owing to the poverty and the bad treatment she received in the family. And so she lived with the Holy Mother from the time of her mother's death. Maku, though married in a landlord's family at Tajpur, lived with the Holy Mother for various reasons. She seldom went to her father-in-law's house, and her husband Pramata was often found in the mother's entourage, as also was Radhu's husband Manmata. The mother had a natural softness for Nalini Devi, deprived as she was of the love of her husband's house, and therefore she kept this niece with herself, putting up with all her shortcomings. One night, when all were asleep, Nalini's husband Pramata arrived from his home at Goghat with a bullock cart to take his wife home. But she was so afraid of going there that she bolted her door and threatened to commit suicide. The mother entreated her to come out, but to no effect. And then only when the mother assured her that she would not be sent did she come out of her room. The mother had been all along sitting at Nalini's door with a lighted lantern by her side. When Nalini came out, it was dawn. So the mother put off the light and repeated the holy names as was her wont in the morning: Ganga, Gita, Gayatri, Bhagavata, Bhakta Bhagavan, Thakur, Thakur, etc. Later she said in a course of a talk, Nalini has got a trace of her aunt's quality, my boy, and that's why she doesn't want to go. Nalini suffered from a craze for purity, which was something like a mania and irritated many. She used to say, if aunt happens to tread on leaves on which people had eaten their food, she simply washes her feet and walks into the room. She doesn't even wash her clothes. If on any day she says, Nalini, give me a little Ganges water, I shall think that she had touched feces. Such was her suspicious mind. One winter evening, she told the mother with tears in her eyes that she had touched something impure. Now, she could not bathe in the cold night, and she could neither enter her room nor eat anything without bathing, and consequently, she would have to stand out in the cold with a bare body for the whole night. Why did such a thing happen? She complained, and she burst into tears. The mother consoled her, argued with her, but to no avail. There is none in this world, wailed Nalini, whom I can call my own. My father has married a second time, and he does not so much as look at me. In my husband's house, too, there are enemies, and so on. When the mealtime came, she was whining in the same strain. In disgust, the inmates planned to teach her a lesson that night. Let her stay out the whole night. All went to bed, but before doing so, they requested the mother not to be soft. Yet, at midnight, there was the sound of opening of the mother's door. She came out and called tenderly, Nalini, dear daughter Nalini, get up, my dear. Go to your room. Why do you suffer in the cold outside? But Nalini made no response. The mother went on in a mood of soliloquy. Ah, Nalini is a child, a little lacking in wisdom. She can't understand, and so she flies into a temper and suffers. And others become disgusted with her. At last, the mother won. Nalini Devi went to her own room to sleep. Nalini Devi's mind was full of the prejudices common to villagers. At one time, some domes, that is, untouchables, brought some straw loops used as seats for round bottomed vessels. The mother said, keep them there. With great care, they deposited the things at the place indicated. Yet Nalini shrieked out, there, they have touched everything. Throw these away. And she went on reviling them, saying, though you are domes, how dare you keep things in such a fashion? The domes feared they had committed a grievous sin. But the mother consoled them, saying, you need not fear, nothing will happen to you. And she gave them some fried rice to eat. There was no love lost between the mad aunt and Nalini. They were always at daggers drawn. Still, they belonged to the same family, and the mother had assumed the task of making them live together. She used to say, whatever you may do, you have, as a matter of fact, to give everybody due attention and consult his opinion. You have to grant a little freedom and watch from a distance so that nothing may go very wrong. Thus, for instance, while I am sending these presents to Radhu's house, at Tajpur. I take counsel from Nalini also. The relation between her and my youngest sister in law is that of the snake and the mongoose. The one does not see anything good in the other, and the other does not so much as tread on her shadow. But when I make Nalini my guide and say, "See, Nalini, what things you like, select from these and tell me." Then she says, with regard to the list I make, "How can these things suffice, aunt? Howsoever they may deal with you. And as for Radhi, she is as good as mad, having no sense at all. You have surely some dignity. Why should you be so illiberal? You do just as it befits you." She speaks thus and makes the list longer. I too laugh inwardly. If I should send the present there, without letting her know, the two will at once begin to fight a battle of Kurukshetra over that matter. Mind you, one has to give some freedom to each and lower oneself a little. When dealing with these conceited persons, I have to study their moves and move very cautiously. And yet, they fall out now and then as though it is their nature. How can I help that? I think to myself, it's his world. He is taking care of it. So, dear devotees and friends, it's very interesting psychology the mother is adopting in dealing with three categories of people. That's how Swami Gambhirananji analyzes what type of people are surrounding the Holy Mother. The first one, he says, the brothers, the three brothers. And the second is the sisters in law, that is the brother's wife, and their girl children, that is nieces to Holy Mother. So, sisters in law and nieces, they come in the second category. And in the third category is the same brothers and sister in law, their male children, that is, the nephews and the sons of her nieces. So, three categories Swami Gambhiranji divides beautifully, and he deals with such. So far, we have seen that how mother dealt with the three brothers, that Kali, Prasanna, and Varada, and how she used the psychology to deal with Kali and Varada and Prasanna also, and got that plot of land belonged to her transferred in the name of Ramakrishna Math or in the name of Holy Mother. So you can see that how, in a very, very astute way, she was very careful not to hurt their sentiments and then got the work done from them. Now, Swami Gambhiranji is going to take us to her dealings with her sisters-in-law and nieces. Who were the sisters-in-law? So he says, Uncle Prasanna, his wife, is one of the sisters-in-law. Her name was Subhashini Devi. Now, Subhashini Devi died, after a year after. So Uncle Prasanna married Subhashini Devi. A year after, the first wife, Ramapriya, died. So already mother had one sister-in-law, Ramapriya. She passed away. And now Uncle Prasanna married another little girl, and her name was Subhashini Devi. But when Subhashini Devi came into this household, she was a very, very young girl, very small girl. So, and with her other sisters-in-law, she was very, very young. So she could think of Holy Mother at her mother's level. So that distance was there. Then Uncle Kali, who was his wife's name was Subodhabala Devi. And Varada's another brothers, his wife's name was Indumati Devi. So you can see that that this combination of the sisters-in-law and their children, the nieces, were also with Holy Mother. For something or other, some of these girls, nieces, came to be part of the Holy Mother's family. See, they could have stayed with their husbands once they got married, but they didn't go. For instance, Radhu and Nalini, Maku, they all stayed with Holy Mother. They didn't want to go to their in-laws' house. Though the Jamais, that is the sons-in-law, they used to come here. Like Maku's husband used to come, Nalini's husband used to come. They used to stay here with mother and enjoy the freedom also there. But when they wanted to take their wives to their house, to their homes, these girls would not go. The nieces were adamant because they have not got good treatment at their in-laws' house. So they hated them. They didn't want to go there. So you find one by one how he is beautifully explaining. So Maku, she was married to a big landlord in Tajpur, but then she would not go there because she thinks the in-laws were ill-treating her. Now, she's remained with Holy Mother. Likewise, we saw that Nalini also, she would not go. But the Subhashri Devi, she had two daughters, Kamala and Vimala. So the author says that we do not much things to say about them in this book. So he is quite silent about them. But then, so we do not know how mother had treated them or what problems they had and they came to mother, etc. So now he starts speaking about Nalini. So what is the Nalini's role or mother's role towards Nalini? We have already seen in one full chapter has been devoted to another niece, that is Radhu. We have seen how Radhu has tortured Holy Mother to a great extent and how Holy Mother forbear all those troubles, sufferings, etc. from Radhu, and still she loved Radhu. And we have seen also in the earlier classes why Holy Mother loved so much Radhu. The reason was that her, her physique will not remain anymore if she takes away her mind from Radhu. Because Sri Ramakrishna himself has shown Holy Mother, this is the child, you must put your mind on that, so that she can remain in this world. If there is no attraction or affection to somebody, you will not stay in this world. This affection is very important thing to keep your life together. I tell you some of the cases that I have seen, that I have seen old man, he is in the deathbed and he could die anytime, doctor has told, but he is not dying. His son is in a foreign country and son has told, written to him that I am coming to see you, and the old man is waiting. As it were, we do not know what he was doing, whether waiting or not, but he was not dying. And the son comes after 1 month, and this old man is suffering in the deathbed. 1 month after he comes, and the next day, the old man leaves his body. That is the affection. Affection is such that you tend to keep up your life longer, even though doctor has told that he will die immediately. You would not die. That affection is there. Even for normal people, ordinary people like that, think of Holy Mother, whose mind is going above the physical, mental level. who even feels out of body sensation. She herself sees her own body lying there and sleeping. To that type of person, how difficult it is to keep the mind at the worldly level. Is it possible for Holy Mother? No. But then something is required for her to keep her mind down, pinned down on the ground, and that was Radhu. So we saw one full chapter on Radhu and Holy Mother stealing. Now we are turning, the author is turning us towards Nalini Devi. Nalini Devi, mother to Nalini Devi also had a soft corner. See, others may see the temperance of Nalini and they all get disgusted, sometimes irritated, and sometimes they scold her also. But mother will not scold her. Somehow, Nalini felt that mother is kind to me. So, if she goes against all others' instruction, then she would still wait for Holy Mother's advice. And what Holy Mother says, that should be understood. So two, three incidents we see here, very strange incidents, of course. See, Nalini's husband Pramatha comes one day and he has brought a bullock cart also. In those days, bullock cart travel is a luxurious travel for the villagers. Only the person who can afford can go by the bullock cart. Otherwise, you have to walk. Walk and walk and walk, no problem at all. But then bullock cart, so he brought bullock cart to take his wife. Perhaps he himself would have walked for it. But then, since he has to take his wife to his house, so he brought a bullock cart to appease her, to make her feel happy. The husbands have to do this. So he did that. He has come and he has come late night. And now he has told Nalini, come with me, let us go to our home. But she saw that, heard from him. She got so much afraid, she went into his room and locked inside. Now people are banging the door. Nalini, come out, Nalini, come out. No, she's not going to come out. Her husband Pramatha comes and bangs the door. No. So it went on like that. And mother, everybody went into their rooms. Okay. And then, you see, they bolted her. She bolted her room. And she's threatening, if you compel me to go with him, I will commit suicide here itself. Now, that's a very terrific challenge, Whenever anybody challenges you, I will commit suicide, naturally your heart melts and you feel uncomfortable. You think that you must avoid that extreme step of suicide. And for that, whatever has to be done, you do it. I have seen families where the brother becomes extremely seriously sick and he is not finding any method of getting over the sickness, whether he has taken up, say, allopathy treatment or other methods of treatment or even mantra, tantra, etc. But nothing is happening. He feels, though the doctors treating him feels there is nothing wrong with him, he's quite okay, but he may be feeling. At that time, he tells his sister, who is looking after him, and tells him, I will commit suicide. Now you see what terrible mental stature of the sister happens at that time. Can she allow? Okay, let him commit suicide. Can she allow that? No. She has to take the entire brunt. And even at a different level she is living, if she has to come down for the sake of that person, that is brother, she has to come down. In that only, the goodness remains. Otherwise, what for we are born as a brother and sister? So why can't we exchange our love? This question comes, Many people are very crude and they say they are becoming rude also in treatment. And they say, let him do whatever. I am not going to care. But is he not your brother? Should you not care for him? Suppose he commits suicide, then the whole life will be lamenting. I did not come down from my position and he committed suicide. If I had come down from my position, though it may be rather dishonorable to you, but still a life has been saved. See, this psychology was well known to Holy Mother. So Holy Mother told Pramata and pacified him that Nalini will not go. So don't try now. Let her remain here. You come some other day. So Pramata was anyway sent out. But then Nalini doesn't know and she is in her room threatening. And then Holy Mother, in the middle of the night, she took a lantern and came up. And at the veranda of Nalini's room, she was sitting. While all others have gone for sleeping, but Holy Mother did not sleep. She came and sat there with the lantern. Because the lantern is burning there, from her room, Nalini could understand light is there outside. And she could understand this light nobody will bring except Holy Mother. She knew that. And when Nalini came out, it was dawn. You can understand Nalini's mind. Mother suffered the whole night. She didn't sleep at all. She was sitting. And then the villages are famous for mosquitoes. And the mosquitoes must be hurting Holy Mother. But she put on her sari around her and sat, not getting up. And then, because it was dawn, the sun is going to rise, and Holy Mother put out the lamp. And she started telling Ganga, Gita, Gayatri. These are the three things in the morning you have to say. Ganga, Gita, Gayatri. All the three starting with Ga. The Ga Akshara is there. That alphabet, Ga is there. But then it's each one is not mere for alliteration. These three are used. But the Ganga, Gita, Gayatri. So these three have got such wonderful idea. See, Ganga and Gita, you see, that Shankaracharya says in the Bhajagovindam that even you have a sip of Ganga water, even you recite one word from the Gita, the Lord Yama will not look at you, he says. So beautifully he says that. So you can see that how this Ganga Gayatri have gained so much importance with the Orthodox Hindus. And Gayatri, what to talk about Gayatri? Sri Ramakrishna says, all the mantras, whatever mantra you know, all the mantras finally dissolve into Gayatri. Gayatri is the mantra from which every mantra comes out. So it is the source mantra. And that Gayatri further in turn dissolves into one letter mantra which is called Om. So the three names, Ganga, Gayatri, Ganga, Gita, Gayatri, is very important. And Holy Mother reminds herself of the holiness of this. You see, unless your mind is filled with holy thoughts, you cannot become holy mentally and far off from becoming holy physically. Why holy men are considered pure in the physique also? Though the physique is same as you have, we also have the same physique. So how do we stand that we are holy? It is because filling the mind with holy thoughts. Early morning you get up, and what Sri Ramakrishna does? He said, Achyutaya Namah, Anantaya Namah, Govindaya Namah. He starts chanting about Krishna. Krishna, he says. Hari, Hari, he says. So this repetition of holy name, when you get up after the sleep, when you get up and reminding yourself of the God's names, It's indeed a wonderful way of making yourself holy. So, this holiness, it does not just fall from the heavens on you, it has to come by your constant practice of thinking the holy names of God, the glories of God. Each name of God, in Sanskrit, you'll find each name of God signifies a state of quality. So, that quality will remind you. Once you take the name of that quality, then that quality reminds you, should you not have that quality? So you think about these names. So chanting the names, it's 100 names, 200 names. How many names are there for God? Our Hinduism has projected 1000 names for each deity. So there is a Vishnu Sahasranamam. Vishnu has got 1000 names. So you get up in the morning and repeat Vishnu's 1000 names. Or take Divine Mother's name. How many names she has got? Divine Mother has got 1000 names. So Lalita Sahasranamam. So you shall chant that Lalita Sahasranamam. And each name is a quality, mind you. It may have some incident in the Puranas, each name, how the name came, etc., etc. But then you can see that each name is a quality. And that quality, when you go on chanting every day after you get up, because once you have slept nicely and you get up, your mind is calm and composed. Is it so? You may ask. Many people write to me, Maharaj, I get up in the early morning, but my mind is still disturbed. It is never calm and quiet. You are telling that if you had a night's sleep and then get up in the early morning, you say that your mind is calm and quiet. No, it is not so. So, what is the reason? Why the mind is not calm and quiet in spite of your taking rest? Sleep is nothing but resting to the mind and physique. Is it not? During sleep, we don't go out and move out, etc. But in sleep, you have dreams. Some people have a few seconds dreams, okay, but some people remember long dreams. Some people tell me as if the same dream has been being enacted in front of their eyes. They give so much details of their dreams. So if you have dreams, your sleep is a disturbed sleep. That's why, in our general wishes, I have seen devotees. I never wish that. Why? Because even if you have sweet dreams, after all, it is a dream. And because it is a dream, your rest of your mind is disturbed. What I want you to sleep, I want you to sleep a nidra. That nidra should not have any dream. A dreamless sleep is what I wish to the devotees. So in that sleep only, you get swasti, you get rest, you get peace. If you have been dreaming, even if it is sweet, you don't get rest. So this was a great problem. In my younger days, I met one Swami. His name was Swami Prameyanandaji Maharaj. Great man. And he became vice president of the Ramakrishna order. He passed away, of course, now he's no more. And he used to love me so much. As a young brahmachari, I used to go to him. He remembered me so much. And then one day, while talking to him and getting some spiritual instruction from him, so I asked him, Maharaj, if I sleep in the night, I sleep about 6 hours. At that time, I was a young brahmachari, mind you. I could sleep well. Even after getting up from the sleep, I feel disturbed. Why it is happening? Then he said, that means Your sleep was not a restful sleep. That much we go into, but further deeper we don't think of. So Swami Paramahananji told me, look, there is further deeper you have to think of it. What is that? If you want to have a restful sleep, that means dreamless sleep, what you should do? Your mind must be calm and quiet before going into sleep. If you don't care to understand that psychology, then after getting up from the sleep, you have got no right to complain. Your mind is restless. So he explained to me the psychology. Before going to sleep, your mind must become calm and quiet. So 10 minutes you sit under the mosquito net and then think of Sri Ramakrishna, your Ishta, and pray to him and surrender the fruit of your actions, and then lie down thinking about him or murmuring some sloka, say Gita sloka, or any stava, any stuti, any type of hymn, murmur it, and then put your eyes closed, and you see how the mind becomes soft, it becomes calm and collected, and the sleep comes automatically. And you will have, or you may have some dream also. That dream you will not be able to remember. Such deep sleep you will have. So the sleep in depth makes you completely rested. The next day you get up morning and your mind is calm and quiet. This is the reason. Before sleep, whatever condition you leave your mind, the same condition will continue even after the interregnum of the period of sleep that you think you had. So this is very important. So you can see that how the mind works like this. So this telling early morning when you get up, Ganga, Gita, Gayatri, and Bhagavat, Bhakt, and Bhagavan, these words, these type of names, Namavali, names of God, is wonderful. It will give you a great refresh to mind, and then it makes you holy. So when mind becomes holy, then what happens? It percolates to the physical body. Not all physical body. Physical body is a solidified expression of mind only. That subtle body, which has got, man, chitta, buddhi, ahankar, and prana, etc., that only has become solidified. And now you are feeling, hearing, or you are seeing this body. So this physical body is nothing but a extension of the subtle body. So once you clean the mind with holy thoughts, understand this psychology, then what happens? That same mind which has become this body is now making this body also pure, the body also holy. That's why he who is thinking about God for so many hours, so his body also becomes pure. His body becomes holy. Think of Holy Mother. Holy Mother, her mind is always on a higher nature. Her Atman, you can say, self, or on Sri Ramakrishna. And her mind has become purely holy. And we call her Holy Mother. Though for the Vyavarika stage, for the practical stage, she is putting her mind outside. But her mind is indrawn. And because it was indrawn, her mind has become holy. And because her mind has become holy, her body has become holy. I will come to that in the next incident of Nalini, how her body has become holy. You see, now you see, so in a Nalini came out seeing Holy Mother, and then she was surprised and she saw Mother is taking the names of gods. And then, in due course of time, Holy Mother was talking about Nalini. She says, you see, Nalini has got a trace of her aunt's quality, my boy, and that's why she doesn't want to go. She's not interested in worldly life. Nalini's aunt is Holy Mother. Some trace of Holy Mother's quality is there to be detached with the family. So she doesn't want to go to her family. She wants to be with me only. That is the good side of Nalini. As I told you, regarding the three brothers who, in their previous life, went to the extents of cutting themselves in order to have that vision of the Divine Mother. And they were born. And with them, Holy Mother stayed. I told you that I discussed in detail in one of the previous classes. So these nieces and the nephews who are also staying with Holy Mother must have done some good karma, in their previous birth. Otherwise, how do you understand that Holy Mother herself comes and stays with them? Because of their sat karma, some punya karma, they have got it. Now that's why we cannot find any fault with these nieces. These nieces were problematic, definitely. That is because of their swabhava, because of their previous karma. But then they have done something good. And for the goodness only, they could come very near to Holy Mother. Now you see, the whole Nalini suffered from a craze for purity. She's crazy. What the craziness? I have seen some people, they are said to be achara anushthan. The term is used achara. What is this acharam? That means you have certain ideas about certain practices. For instance, you are eating with your hands, putting it in your mouth. Now, this hand said to have become defiled. So, the hand by which I am eating, putting in my mouth, I cannot touch something and give it to somebody else because this has become defiled. It has become jhuta. So, from my plate, from which I person, that person will not eat because he knows this is defiled. This is not pure. That's why the Orthodox Hindus, before offering to God, they will never taste the food that is prepared. They will prepare everything: rice, dal, curries, and payasam. Everything is prepared, but none of the item they have tasted it because they don't want to make any of the item defiled, impure. It is called impurity. So some people go to the extent of the letter. Some people take it in the spirit. So this according to the temperament. But what was the temperament of Nalini? Nalini's temperament was to go to the letter. So she was extremely aware of the purity and impurity, etc. So she would not touch. The purity can go to that extent. You cannot put on your sandals and get into kitchen. In some houses, you can't get into your house also. Of course, due to pandemic, we are all advised not to take your sandals inside the home. So that was the practice. See, these purity practices were once upon a time were necessary. And because you are moving outside without any sandal, you see. So naturally outside there are lots of impure things are there. So when you come back, you have to wash your feet and then get into your home. So there are reasons, of course. I'm not going to the society's way of structure, I'm not going to it. But I will be interested to see how Nalini was crazy for purity. And she says that if aunt says that I want to Ganges water, give me Ganges water, she understands or suspects that the aunt must have touched some fecal matter outside by her feet. And she would not do like that. One day, what happened to Nalini? Nalini got some crows, crows has exited on her head. So the crow's uh, droppings, they are considered as a mark of impurity. So what you have to do? You have to wash your head. Simple. But Nalini would not go to that extent. She would go to that extent of taking bath. Now it was midnight and night has come, and at this time taking bath is not required. So she says that how she has become impure, and it is a cold night, I can't take bath, and she has removed all her clothes, naked. She said, I will stand outside whole night. Now, because she has not taken bath, she would not enter the home. What a terrible thing, you see. And then everybody comes and tells her, dear Nalini, don't do this. You stay outside. If you want to stay outside, stay with all the clothes. And then you go inside first. And tomorrow morning you can take bath. Everything has been told by everyone. She did not listen. So everybody got disgusted. And they came to Holy Mother. Ma, don't be soft to her. This Nalini is making a problem to all of us. We are all going to sleep. Don't be soft to her. And then Holy Mother goes and she stands and she says that, and Nalini burst into tears and telling Holy Mother, you see my fate, Auntie, this is my fate. In my home also nobody loves me, and in my in-laws also homes now nobody loves me, and here I am here with you, and everybody comes and threatens me and speaks ill of me and then goes away, and I am all alone lying here. And how can I get my purity now unless I take bath? So when Holy Mother, in another instance, the same incident in another place reported by Swami Gambhiranaji, Holy Mother gets upset. She says, okay, don't worry, you will get purity, and if you get a bath, then it will be all right. So tomorrow morning you can do it. What I am advising like others is, because it's a cold night, don't take bath. You will get sick. Everything has been told. She was not willing. At that time, Holy Mother remembers her purity. She takes her hand nearest to her, Nalini, and says, touch me. She says, if you don't believe in purity of any other thing, touch me. From that instance, you can understand the mind that is purified already. Because the body is an extension of the mind, as I said, the body also gets the purity. So touching Holy Mother, touching saints and sages, touching the great religious people who are thinking about God, and your body also draws that purity. That's why touching and making pranam is one of the customs in some parts of India, because the body is going the purity. That's why where the touching custom is not there, there they say the darshan matrena, darshana. But you see, you have darshan of the saint, that's enough. How that is enough? Because you are seeing a pure man whose body also has become pure. So that is how the holiness is understood. See, that not that a saint will not go for toilet, etc. No. And not that his body has got no disease. No, not that way. Purity does not mean that. It means holiness. Because the mind has become holy, the body also becomes holy. Situation also becomes holy. So here we find how Nalini is so adamant that nakedly she is standing there. And all went to bed. But mother, and they told mother not to be soft. But can't mother stand like that? One of her niece is standing outside in the cold without any clothes. Will mother keep quiet? No. See, her heart is there. Her heart will definitely melt. And she went there. Nalini, dear daughter Nalini, get up, go to your room. Why do you suffer from cold outside? Etc. She slowly told him. And apart from that, touch me, etc., she said another thing. On her own, soliloquy, as it called, on her own, mother was speaking as if to her, no, to nobody, but on her own she was speaking. What she was telling, so that Nalini can hear those words. A very important word she said. She says, ah, Nalini is a child after all, a little lacking in wisdom. She can't understand. And so she flies into temper and then suffers. And others become frustrated with her. When she said like that, Nalini could understand the feeling of the great compassion of Holy Mother towards her. See, this compassion is something extraordinary. And Nalini could feel that it with her Holy Mother's compassion could touch the chord of her heart. And Nalini listened to her. And then she got up and went into her room. See how, in such a beautiful way, Holy Mother dealt with Nalini's intemperance. And then another point is the prejudices of the villagers. We all know that even Holy Mother wearing a white sari with a red border, we saw that how Kamarpukur villagers were not at all happy with that. And they did not want her even kesh, that is, her hair to be there. So a widow must not have a hair, she must have a mundan, and she should not wear colored clothes. She should wear white clothes. So all those traditional, conventional things were there, and Holy Mother did not adopt that. She had full hair, and her hair used to touch her knees. Such was the length of her hair. In one center, when I went in South Africa, about a 12, 13-year-old girl also attended with her mother. And the girl turned, and I was stunned. Her hair was so long, touching her knees. So I praised her. See, like Holy Mother. Holy Mother is to keep long hair. And in her younger age, you can imagine now. Even at the late age, we see in the photo that her hair is coming down up to this. And you can easily imagine in her younger age how much long it should be. And that long hair is considered as one of the beauty also. But then Holy Mother had that long hair. They could never imagine to cut the hair because it is not considered as a good omen. So they would not do it in the traditional families. So this long hair she had. And these prejudices I was telling you was from the villagers. And Nalini belonged to that group. As I told you, she had this purity, impurity concept. Like, so this concept she has extended to the letter. So one day, some super class people came. They make, they take the bamboo sticks and then they make some stools. They are called moda as we call it in Hindi. So I do not remember now the Bengali term for that, but in Hindi we call it moda. So a moda is a small seat like that, and it is round and round and round they stitch, and then one can sit also comfortably. So this moda is kept. So Holy Mother wanted some modas for her house. So they came. So they are the people who do that. It's a handicraft. So by hand you have to do it. And then they brought it. And mothers showed them a place in the room. Go and keep it. So they entered the house, kept those modas, and they were standing and talking to Holy Mother. At that time, Nalini saw that. Now Nalini was furious. He started shouting at them. How dare, being domes, you have entered the house? Don't you know whose house it is? That was terrible. And the domes were afraid. They have done something heinous crime or what? They just entered And as per the instruction of Holy Mother, they have kept those items. And then what they have done, they couldn't understand. They knew that they have been neglected in the society. They are out. They are called. Uh, they are not kept within the society, so they are out of the society. So outcast, as they call it, pariahs. These pariahs are called outcast. So they are not integrated to society. All these things they know because they experience every day. So now they were stunned. And what was the Holy Mother's reaction? You see, did she give way to Nalini's ideas? We saw two instances where she acquiesced in Nalini and she stayed with Nalini's idea, opposing all the others. But here, in this atmosphere, what Holy Mother do? Something important we have to learn. And that is what? Though you are domes, how dare you keep things in such a fashion by entering our house? That was Nalini's question. The domes fear they had committed a grievous sin. No, there was no sin. But the mother consoled them, saying, "My children, you need not fear. Nothing will happen to you." And she made them seated there, gave them fried rice, which is called mudi, or in Tamil we call puri. So the mudi she gave, because in West Bengal, in Bengal villages, mudi is the thing. Every house will have plenty of mudi. Any visitor comes also, you can give him. So that mudi, she gave them. She made them eat, sitting there. And then they were very happy. So they felt this mother is not for the higher caste mother. The surrounding people may be higher caste, but then mother is for all. Mother is not for one caste, one creed, one religion. She is Holy Mother to the entire universe. We see later on some of the qualities of Holy Mother, how she embraces everyone in this world, irrespective of any caste, creed, anything. No type of differences at all. And that is what inculcated by Sri Ramakrishna himself. Sri Ramakrishna did not see the caste difference, but he was conscious of the holiness and unholiness difference. If a man comes to him with a lot of worldly thoughts, he considers that as unholy. A man may be belonging to lowest caste, but he is thinking of Lord all the time, and he comes to him, he considers him as a holy person. That's why anybody coming and touching the foot of Sri Ramakrishna, even though that lady may be a Brahman lady, he would not consider as acceptable because she is not of good character. If you are holy, then that is acceptable. So many people mix this holiness and purity in such a way and they get confused. So it is necessary in our mind to know what is holiness and what is purity. This purity of physical and mental, etc., are one side. But holiness entirely comes from thinking of the Lord's name. And that is what we have to do. So, dear devotees and friends, try today before going to sleep, make your mind calm and collected and experiment. Tomorrow morning when you get up, how is your mind? So that will be a wonderful experiment for you. Thank you. We shall proceed further next week. Just one announcement to all of you. 17th June, 2 days before that went by, was our affiliation day, or we can call it anniversary. That is the third anniversary of the Air Vedanta Society. So the Air Vedanta Society was affiliated to Belur Mutt, the headquarters of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission. So that affiliation has completed 3 years on 17th June. Because it was a weekday, we didn't want to have any program on that day. But tomorrow, being Sunday morning, we have a nice program. It's just a 2 hours, 2.5 hours program. It will be a webcast via Zoom. So you will get that link as usual if you are a member of our chat group, or to my contacts. I will send it again by night. I will send you. So tomorrow morning it will start Irish time, 10 o'clock. 10 to 12:30 is a program is arranged. It's a beautiful small program, and I would request all of you, if you have time and free at the time, please join us for the celebration of the third anniversary of Air Vedanta Society. Om Kripam Kuru Mahadevi Suteshu Pranateshu Cha Charanasrayadanena Kripamayi Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.